Every so often, a really good author leaves their wheelhouse and finds out that outside of their chosen genre, they're actually really terrible. My favorite fantasy author writes some of the worst sci-fi I've ever read. This is what happens when a memoirist tries to write a thriller. Today, we're going to be reviewing Angelology by Danielle Trussoni. This book is a lot like Dan Brown if you took all of the sort of subdued, almost mystical elements and made them actually supernatural. So it's like a fantasy version of the Da Vinci Code. I was really excited for this book. I read an excerpt of it elsewhere about a year before I actually got my hands on it, and the writing was superb. The excerpt was from the perspective of the primary villain, and I love the way the author described the setting and the mentality of the villain and what exactly was at stake for him. So when I picked up this book, I was expecting a lot of really good writing and really good usage of language. That was what I got. The book is set in a world in which many millennia ago, angels came to Earth and had half-human children. These half-human children, known as the Nephilim, ended up becoming immoral aristocrats attempting to run human society for their own perverted desires. A group of humans found out about this and began to attempt to hunt the Nephilim and to end their influence on human society. These humans became known as angelologists because of their study of the semi-divine. The main character of the novel is a young nun named Evangeline, who discovers that her parents were angelologists and that the Nephilim are looking for an artifact, specifically Gabriel's harp, which will allow them to heal all of the damage that existing in the real world has done to them, while also making them supremely powerful. The harp has been hidden from them by the Rockefeller family, so the main plot of the novel is the Nephilim and the angelologists racing to find all of the parts of the harp, the Nephilim so they can use it, the angelologists so they can destroy it. Now, as I mentioned, the writing in this book was really good, spectacular even. The problem comes in with something called world builder syndrome. Basically, world builder syndrome is what happens when a fantasy author gets so focused on the world that they're creating that they forget to properly develop the plot and the characters. And that's exactly what Angelology does. The most interesting part of the book is the middle part, which doesn't include the main characters at all. In fact, it takes place years earlier in an entirely different country. The parts of the book that actually contain the main characters feel kind of rushed. A lot of things happen that don't have a clear reason for happening. There's a general rule that even if you're writing a series, the first book should be a self-contained story with a few plot threads going off of it to hint at a bigger world. Angelology doesn't do that. A lot of threads are left sort of unfilled, and there's a lot of Deus Ex Machina happening in this book. So simply put, on one hand, the writing is fantastic. On the other hand, the plot isn't great, the characters are sort of underdeveloped and difficult to empathize with, and the book doesn't deliver on a lot of the promises it makes. I did enjoy parts of this book, and if that's enough to pique your interest, then as always, the link to the Amazon page is below if you want to take a look. However, Angelology does not get my recommendation. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I've heard a lot of both online, so let me know what you think in the comments. And as always, remember to like and subscribe if you want to see more of these videos, and I will see everyone on Sunday.